Alright guys, today I want to mix things up a little bit and teach you something rather than just the usual content of showing you what's going on in the program. This is called the walking C pattern. It is a blast. It involves pointing and sending, keeping space off of you, lots of momentum, yielding that hindquarters, the whole 9 yards, all in one exercise. So it's a blast for anybody who's got it down with their groundwork already. This is something you can do to keep things fun and interesting. This exercise is basically just a glorified C pattern, so that's actually going to be the first thing you want to do. Make sure you have your C patterns really down before moving on. I'm actually going to show you what it's like to teach a horse for the first time. So this is Scar. He's been in training with me for about a week, so he's pretty new to groundwork. I would recommend doing this with horses that are a little bit further along, but I just wanted to show you some of the issues that you're going to encounter and some of the things you need to help them through when you're teaching this walking C pattern. So I'm going to show you with this horse that's just getting started. As you see, could even be a little bit better at lunging here, but it's going to highlight this. So when I'm starting the C patterns, I'm going to make sure that he's really sending off. Again, this is really just going to highlight some of the things you might encounter because he's so new to this. So I'm checking in with his C patterns right now, making sure he's got that down at least enough to get started. And then what I'm going to do is when he goes to move off, I'm going to start taking some steps. So I'm going to point and send. I'm going to take a couple steps as he commits to that side. And I'm just going to pause, get him turned, get him headed the other way. When he steps, I'm going to step. They're going to jump a little bit when you first start doing this because they're so used to you just standing in the same spot lunging. It's going to catch them off guard a little bit, unless they're a really dull horse. Then they're going to be a little pushy. But you usually get one or the other when you're starting with these guys. I don't worry too much about them jumping. It's just something that's going to go away. This is extra desensitizing, extra stimuli for them. If they get really frazzled, you're going to want to stop and do some leader up desensitizing, get their mind in the right place. But mostly just let them work through it. If they miss a cue like that, where you really have to just pause and fix it right then and there before moving on, that's all part of it. I'm not going to get upset. I'm just going to work him through this and let him figure it all out. I'm trying to get him to go from like 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock next to me. So he's going a little bit far behind right now just because I'm asking here and then he responds, so there's a little bit of a delay. He's got a lot on his mind right now, so he's just figuring it out. We're just gonna bear with him and watch as he starts to learn. If he makes a mistake, we're just correcting it, sending on. He's gonna see he just needs to kind of do that bare minimum of turning right out to the side of me, just barely behind me, not so far behind. But he's gonna get there. This is a blast for anybody who's really good at their groundwork already and just looking for something fun to do. With him being new, you can see all these issues highlighted. Like, he jumped pretty big there because I moved. Sometimes you start moving around helping them and it catches them off guard. They're like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? This was different. It's just all part of it. Just bear with them as they figure it all out. He got a little close to me there, so I went ahead and represented that circle with my lead rope and told him he needed to move off me a little bit. Just gave him a little bop as he was going around. You can use that part of your lead rope right here to say, hey, this is my space, that is yours. Same as every other exercise. They just have so much to think about going on when you first start teaching this that they get a little bit overwhelmed. They start missing things. But that's that really fun part. Like, see, he's starting to figure it out now. That's that fun part where you can teach him something new like this, put it all together, work on those areas where he's jumping a little bit like that. Eventually, this is going to turn into like you saw with the gray horse at first that's been doing this for a little while, where it's just a one smooth motion. Especially for your quarter horse people. Those quarter horses can really make those turns look fancy in just a couple of sessions doing this. If you have a little gaited horse like this, they're going to struggle a little bit. But hey, that's half the fun. Again, this is an exercise, just something you can do. What's the practicality of this? Well, you could give them exercise while you walk the 1,000 feet like I just did. But basically, it's just for fun. It's just to throw together all of that yield, point and send, moving their bodies, keeping distance. It gives you something fun to do when lunging is getting a little bit boring. So he's really picking up on this. Besides some small struggles, he's doing really well. He's gone probably 1,100 feet or so. And he's already figuring this up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm fixing to wrap this up, and we'll move on to doing yield the hindquarters or backing or just something different, something he already knows, and then we'll go back to it once or twice more throughout the session. And this is something you can do, you can do it 7 days a week if you want, or just when you're messing with your horse. Bring him out, mess with that a little bit, have some fun with it. Happy trails, guys.